Israel's Security Cabinet has approved a U.S. brokered ceasefire deal with Hezbollah in Lebanon following Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's agreement. The Prime Minister's office said the plan was approved by a 10-1 vote. Previously, Netanyahu had cited three main reasons for the deal on the Israeli part, namely to focus on the Iranian threat, to refresh army forces and resupply, and to disconnect the fronts and isolate the Palestinian resistance Hamas. Furthermore, he stressed Israel will attack if Hezbollah violates the proposed truce. The agreement allegedly repeats UN Security Council Resolution 1701 and involves the monitoring of the US and France. Israeli media reported that the cessation of hostilities will take effect at 4 a.m. local time on Wednesday. In the meantime, Zionist forces have issued new evacuation warnings for Beirut's southern suburbs. In Syria, the Arab Red Crescent announced the death of one of its volunteers during an Israeli bombardment against a couple of border crossings with Lebanon. The organization issued on a statement that the volunteer, Muhannad Yakish, was hit to death while he was providing rescue services to several wounded. Some of his colleagues were injured as well. The attack took place at the border crossings of Al-Dabushie and Al-Arida in Homs and Tartus provinces, where several ambulances were further destroyed. The Syrian Arab Red Crescent condemned the aggression and demanded respect for international humanitarian law and the protection of its workers to ensure medical and rescue services. Thousands of displaced families return to their homes in different parts of Lebanon and celebrate the victory of the Lebanese resistance after a ceasefire with Israel. The ceasefire is a byproduct of international pressure and the resistance of the Lebanese people. The agreement stipulated a 60-day ceasefire in which progress will be made in the exchange of prisoners, while the Lebanese armed forces will be the only ones allowed to deploy on the southern border. However, Israeli fire is still reported in the south of the country. The Lebanese Ministry of Health registered that 3,823 people have been killed and 15,859 injured since the escalation of the Israeli aggression towards Lebanon since September 2024. Despite the ceasefire in Lebanon, the Israeli army continued to intensify its attacks against Palestinians throughout the Gaza Strip. During overnight raids, the occupation army again shelled schools, providing shelter for hundreds of displaced families. That included a deadly attack on the Al-Tabin school in the city of Gaza, killing 8 people and injuring several others. In addition, Israeli troops attacked early Wednesday morning a shelter school in Beit Lahia. The genocidal aggression on the Gaza Strip has killed 44,249 people and wounded more than 104,000 since October 2023. In France, the French Farmers' Union continues its second week of protests against the free trade agreement between the European Union and Mercosur. In the city of Montauban, dozens of tractors were parked overnight outside the headquarters of the French body that brings together agricultural associations and players in the agricultural world. They gathered for an evening demonstration as actions across France intensify against a free trade agreement between the EU and the South American Mercosur bloc. France is strongly opposed to the European Union signing the agreement, saying French farmers would face unfair competition that would undermine their livelihoods. In this context, the French National Assembly on Tuesday categorically rejected in a non-binding vote the European Union-Mercosur Free Trade Agreement in a context of farmers' protests against the initiative. After a debate with harsh criticism of the pact, 470 deputies denounced the agreement and only 70 supported it. The decision of the lower house of the French parliament reinforced the position of President Emmanuel Macron, who ratifies his opposition to the free trade initiative under heavy pressure from farmers. However, it seemed unlikely Paris would succeed in slowing down an agreement that the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, estimated to be already in its final stage. And at least 2,000 indigenous people from West Central Colombia camped out in front of a government office in Bogota to make demands for their ancestral lands and draw attention to their communities. They arrived in 40 buses from the Risaralda department and set up hundreds of tents in front of the National Land Office. Furthermore, women with children sat there, as they denounced the death of at least 110 children younger than 5 years old. The deaths of these children have been from malnutrition-related diseases since 2023. As a result, demonstrators have claimed the government to draw more attention to their communities. Israel's Security Cabinet